When I was 6 years old, my first grade teacher had this brilliant idea. She wanted us to experience receiving gifts, but also learning the virtue of complimenting each other. So she bought some gifts and stacked them all in the corner of the classroom. And she said, "Why don't we just stand here and compliment each other?" What a wonderful idea, right? What could go wrong? Well, there were 40 of us to start, and this all went well until there were 3 people left. And of course, I was one of them. At that moment, I was crying, and my teacher was freaking out. Would anyone like to say anything nice about these children? No? I'm gonna be fired. Be better next year. Maybe you'll get a compliment. So that was one version of me. I would die to avoid being rejected in public again. And this fear even persisted 24 years later when I started my own company. One day, I was presented with the investment opportunity, but then I was turned down. That rejection hurt me. It hurt me bad. I wanted to quit right there. But then I thought to myself, would any successful entrepreneur quit just like that? No way! I cannot let that 6-year-old keep dictating my life anymore. I need to put him back in his place. So this is where I went online and searched up how to overcome the fear of rejection. And I found this website called rejectiontherapy.com. The idea is for 30 days, you go out and look for rejection. And by the end, you desensitize yourself from the pain. Day 1. Borrow $100 from a stranger. I went downstairs from where I was working and I saw this big guy sitting behind a desk. And I walked up to him. It was the longest walk of my life. The hair on my neck was standing up and my heart was beating so fast. When I finally got to him, I said, "Hey, sir, can I borrow $100 from you?" He was like, "No, why?" And I just said, no, I'm sorry, and then I just ran. But looking back, he wasn't that bad of a guy, after all. He invited me to explain myself. He asked me why, but all I did was run. And no matter what happens the next day, I will not run. I'll stay engaged. Day 2. Request a burger refill. After I finished lunch, I went to the cashier and said, "Hi, can I get a burger refill?" He was like, "Yo, dude, what's a burger refill?" I said, "Well, it's like a drink refill, but with the burger." And he said, "Sorry, man, we don't do burger refills here." And this is where I could have run. But instead, I stayed and said, "Well, I love your burgers and I love your joint. And if you guys did a burger refill, I'll love you guys even more." And then he said, "Sorry, man, we can't do it today, but I'll ask my manager about it." And then I left. And the life and death feeling I was feeling for the first time was no longer there, just because I stayed engaged. Day 3. Plant this flower in someone's backyard. I went to a random house in my neighborhood and I knocked on the door. "Can I plant this flower in your backyard?" "Nah, mate," he said, but before he could close the door, I said, "Wait, can I know why?" He said, "Well, I have this dog and he would mess up anything I put in the backyard. If you want to do this, go across the street and talk to Connie. She loves flowers." And you know what? I went across the street and talked to Connie. And half an hour later, my flower was in Connie's backyard, just because I stayed engaged. If you're facing an obstacle or a challenge, don't give up. It might become your biggest gift, like mine.